Hello and welcome to the Fandemic Presents Prevenge of the Nerds. We are your one-stop podcast. Every week we are going to give you all the things to level up your awesome. You can also order my kids' book, Leveling Up My Awesome, on Amazon right now for $7.99, or
Shameless
contact
plug
me.
number one.
Thank you. I think our record's 4 or 5 last week.
We got five. We got
You got
five.
5? All right, well, 5 is a good number. I'll try to stick with that. So make sure you contact me for your autographed copy for a little bit more than that. Now, as you can see, you're gonna get a me and then a big B. We'll explain that shortly. For starters, we are going to give you our war report. That's right, the What's Awesome report for the week with all the who's its and what's its. If it's awesome, and there was plenty to be awesome, we're going to talk about it. Once you find out what's awesome, then we're going to you can also go to Amazon and get your copy of my book, Leveling Up My Awesome, for $7.99, or an autographed copy for a little bit more. Number 2.
Shameless plug number 2.
In a minute and a half, right?
Nice.
All right. And we're going to get to the prevenge part where we could tell you all the stories that could have led to your favorite movies, TV shows, and so much more. Might be so it might be your favorite movie, might be your favorite TV show, it might be a list, it might be a pitch. All we can tell you is that your awesome will be leveled due to this. Just like if you buy my book on Amazon for $7.99, boom. All right.
Shameless plug number 3. I'm loving this, man.
All right, to close the show, we are going to play a little pitch, fix, and or ditch. We will look at some type of property and we will pitch something to do with it, fix what needs to be fixed, and or then make it worse. Yes, we will put it patent pending.
Did you get any on you is the question, sir?
Maybe a little bit.
Fair.
I am the self-proclaimed Emperor of Awesome, Bradley Butane, and this is my co-host, the unverified twin of Shamar Moore.
Yes, sir. Only in the nipples, and that is Brian S. Dennis with the S stands for Daredevil. And by the way, I am coming to you from my own Batcave Fortress of Solitude. We'd like to call it my damn cameras are working. So, Bradley, let's begin to prevent the nerds. And as always, to prevent the nerds, we'd like to say we are the best reason you have for clearing your browser history.
Absolutely. You know, I had something clever to say, and it just escaped me. You know, Brian. So, can you imagine that at some point in history,
yes,
somebody came up with a world-changing invention in their mind,
yes,
and then forgot it?
Absolutely.
Right?
Yes. Well, I mean, you have those things historically. You've got Edison and Tesla and lots of folks where they say, hey, I came with the idea, you just beat me to the patent office or whatever.
Yeah.
But you know someone has really had that great billion, not million, billion-dollar idea, and they lost it, or they thought, oh, I'll work on it later. And then guess what? Next year, Amazon or Microsoft or something where they go, I had the idea first. So absolutely. And by the way, those people would be us. We are those people who come with all the great ideas, but will never ever get rich or famous.
Right. Yeah. And you know that Amazon is listening. I mean, you know, they're listening.
Yes. Oh. As is Al Gore. And remember, he did invent the internet.
Yes, that's true. That's true. But first, Brian, are you sad that the Queen dying ruined or spoiled the end of Netflix's The Crown?
Well, speaking of a population, never too soon. Because by the way, no, I'm not too sad about that. Because you know, while we may have lost Queen Elizabeth, R.I.P., we still have Helen Mirren, which in the end of the day is truthfully the same thing.
This is true. This is definitely true. So, Brian, we are going to let's get right into our what's awesome.
I have my question for you then. Which were you more sad about, the death of the Queen or the death of Betty White?
Betty White.
There you go. Because then Americans, we're Americans, damn it.
Yeah, I mean, and the queen, she's 96 years old. The woman lived an amazing life. I mean, like, I'm definitely saddened. I mean, like, it doesn't affect me, but like, I mean, she affected so many people, and from like all the reports, she was just a really down to earth person too. So I
Right,
mean,
right.
but yeah, R.I.P.
Yeah, and at some point we'll have to have succession for the Iron Throne, and we have to
Hmm.
figure out the Baratheons and oh, sorry, wrong. The succession we actually do
Right.
care about, right? Yes,
Right. Well, there is a wedding in tonight's House of the House of the Dragon.
yes,
So, and how weddings go in the world of
yes,
Game of Thrones. So,
yes. But will it be a red wed? What about a chartreuse wedding or an aubergine wedding? Like I want those really
yeah.
unusual colors when it comes to the wedding. Because we also know, based on last week's episode in the House of Dragon, will she or will she not wear white?
Oh, good point. Good point. We're gonna find out in a couple of hours. So,
Exactly. All right, sir. Let's do it.
what is awesome on the streaming? So, what's awesome on the Netflix, Disney, Hulu, Prime, Paramount Plus, and HBO? Brian, what do you
All
got,
the
buddy?
things. Well, I'm
All
gonna
of
start
them.
off. I'm gonna start off with one that I was gonna ask you, but I figured out till the show to ask you because this is one of the ones. It's a new Netflix show, and I wonder if you've been
Mm.
watching it. The Imperfects. Have you checked that out yet?
No, I have watched the trailer a few times, and then I got into something else. I have 3 more episodes of the original Game of Thrones,
Gotcha.
and then we're gonna go into and so like pretty much the big the long night just happened. So
Sure.
the remaining 3 episodes are kind of like
Yes.
and did whatever. Um, Imperfects is we're gonna watch The Devil in Ohio, and then we're gonna
Yes.
get into the Imperfects. I think.
All right, definitely check it out. I'm about halfway through. It is one of those that takes it takes a lot of the tropes we have in
Hmm.
sci-fi, but has kind of a bit of a spin on it. It's got a little bit of mutants in it. It's got a little bit of monsters in it. It's got a little bit of the deep web and the black ops and the government's out to get you. Which we all know. If anyone's listening from our government, the United States government, we know there would never be any type of conspiracies to take advantage of your poverty. Because here at the Preventative
Right.
Nerds, we are patriots.
And we went to the moon. We
Yes,
definitely been to the moon.
yes, and we
Right,
believe
right.
in America. All right, but
America.
check it out. It's a cool. One of the things that I dig about it is it plays with the idea of genetics and
Mm.
even things that we may historically thought of as monsters may have actually been genetic abnormalities, and we see this play out with 3 very specific people. But what we may call a gift, they call a side effect. Kind of
Mhm.
interesting way of looking. And you gotta love a show where pretty much everyone is beautiful.
Mhm.
Everyone is. It's kind of like living in the Butin household, the Butin household, where everyone is beautiful.
That is correct. That is correct.
All
Except for
right.
my kid's attitude sometime.
Well, that's the thing. Um,
Mhm.
we got Rings of Power,
Mhm.
continually to move forward. We got a few more things. The ending of Ring of Power was probably the best part of this
Mhm.
episode. We continue to strive more and more to the idea of seeing all the different chess pieces moving around the board. We've
Mhm.
got the elves, we've got the trolls, excuse me, the dwarves. We've now got the world of men. So we're getting more and more into it. We're seeing those dashly orcs getting more and more brazen. So here we go. And I'm sorry for the people who really dislike this, but yes, we have more people of color doing cool things in this week's episode. And lastly, but not least, we had our girl She-Hulk. And I think that's probably gave me the biggest squeal of the week was She-Hulk, and my tag team partner Bradley Butin beat me to posting it. But when it came to She-Hulk, it was a really good. It basically, again, She-Hulk is along with probably WandaVision
Mhm.
the most unlike a Marvel show that we've had. But I mean, that's a good thing, especially in the
Mhm.
world of She-Hulk. The episodes still are a little fast to me. They're only about a half hour. No commercial, still only about a half hour. Less superhero fights, some court drama. They made trademark infringement kind of interesting.
Right.
When trademarks meet Tinder, that's always fun. But we also got the idea of, hey, which you saw, which I think it's the first time we saw this outside of like The Incredibles. The idea that, hey, if you're a superhero or a villain, I guess, and your clothes are kind of get wear and tear, you need someone who can design it. So we had the introduction of that, and at the end of the episode, this is what we say: spoiler alert. At the end of the episode, we got to see the creation of a very particular piece of equipment. And Bradley, do you want to share what it is that we saw?
Daredevil's cowl.
And not just his cowl, a very specific color of the cowl,
yellow
sir.
cowl.
The yellow
cowl.
golden cowl, which is the old
yes.
school original. And I believe we taught us on a previous podcast. And I
We
asked
did.
you, which one do you prefer? And you prefer the old school gold, correct?
Yes, I sure did. Yeah, and I think we were pretty much in agreement with that. Or did you want all the black one?
No, I agree with you. Yeah. Partly because we've never seen that on the big screen or the small screen, really. So it sounds like Charlie Cox, when he makes, we've heard that Charlie Cox was going to do something in this season. So it sounds like when we see Charlie Cox, which I think will have to be next week, I believe that is the 6th episode. Again, Disney, 6 is too short. But I believe that if it truly has 6 episodes, which I think all the series are doing now, I get next week will be it. And do we see Daredevil in full uniform? Do we see Charlie Cox just picking it up, or because they're both lawyers, will we see Jennifer Walters going head to head with one Mr. Matt Murdock?
I hope so. I really do, man. Here's the thing about She-Hulk. She-Hulk was created as a satire, and people are surprised that this is a satirical
show. Yes.
Guys, like this is exactly what it should be, dude. But we'll tell you what, man. Madison and the fashion designer need to do something.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, and maybe in the other witch. Oh gosh, what was her name? From WandaVision.
You would say that now. Agatha,
yes. That'd be a perfect place for them to show back up with a little bit of Wonger, because he is now forever Wonger.
And remember, here at Revenge of the Nerds, there's no bad place for Wongers.
Nice.
Last question for you on She-Hulk, sir.
Yeah.
If you are Matt Murdock and knowing that She-Hulk is single, are you sliding in the DM, sir?
Is he with Deborah Wool?
Is he with? And is she a vampire?
Yes. Is this the Deborah Wool vampire?
Yes.
That is a true blood. That is a true blood cut, people. So
thank you. Thank you. A very underrated, because it didn't end the greatest, but a very underrated modern vampire show. So if anyone, again, that is out there that thinks Twilight is good, go watch True Blood if you want the sexy time vamps that are done much better. Much better.
Correct. And you get Rogue. Rogue's in there, you know?
Absolutely. And Rogue Unrobed is in there.
Yes. Rogue. Yeah.
Yes. Ruh-roh. Okay.
Ruh-roh.
Yes.
Oh, man. A couple things. We have Quantum Leap comes out
starts
tomorrow.
Monday. Yes.
And Andor episodes 1, 2, and 3 start on Wednesday.
Yes.
So my question to you is, do you want to get together on Wednesday and maybe do maybe after the episodes or something? We could talk about that later. But
yes. Yeah, I think we do need to do a quick review of the first 3 of Andor and sneak in some Quantum Leap there. And again, at Revenge of the Nerd, we strive to put wrong what once went right.
Or Wonger, what once was Wong.
No,
that didn't work.
No,
I went for it.
No,
I went for it.
You shot your shot, my friend. They can never say Bradley Buchanan didn't go for it, man.
That is correct. Oh, any good movies you watch, man?
Oh, nothing. You know what? I haven't been out to the movies in a little bit. I started the Queen Latifah Ludacris the End of Things or something like that. Didn't get into it that much. By the way, and I know we try and keep things positive, I do have to give a down rating for a show that I was really excited for. I was really excited for John Swift on HBO. which is a futuristic show. Definitely seemed like something to be my cup of tea.
Tom
It
Swift
is John Swift. Yes,
or
it
Tom
is
Swift.
Tom Swift. Thank you, not
Yeah,
John Tom.
yeah,
It is horrible.
yeah, yeah.
It
Um,
is horrible.
yeah, yeah,
It
yeah.
is
It's
horrible.
it's it's pretty bad.
Between that and Naomi, I am really, really disappointed. It
Well,
is.
and Tom Swift should have been good
There's no reason it wasn't other
and a
than
good
the
premise.
acting. It had a really good premise.
The writing was just
The
awful. I
writing was
mean,
horrible.
man,
I mean,
like
it
they
had
couldn't tell a story.
great special effects. I mean, it
Hmm.
had all the thing, including, which is going to be my next question to you, Bradley, including giving us LeVar Burton as AI and Barkley. So, Bradley Butane, if you are
Hmm.
in your future billionaire life, if
Hmm.
you're creating AI, is your AI going to be voiced by
Mm.
is it going to be voiced by Vision Paul Bettany,
Paul Bentley, yeah,
or is it going to be voiced by LeVar Burton? And those are your only two options.
LeVar Burton.
Thank you, sir. And why
Yeah,
he is not the host of Jeopardy, it really breaks my heart.
yeah. I mean, not that I would watch it anyway, but just not, the fact that I don't know, that he's not. I mean, because LeVar Burton. But hey, he will be back as Geordi in Picard season 3. That
He will.
starts. I think it's October.
I think you're right.
Yeah, yeah. So we will get Geordi, and
Yes,
we will definitely be doing like that. We'll be hitting our war report, our what's awesome report,
there it is,
pretty
sir.
hard, pretty hard,
There it
when
is.
that's all coming up. So
Because I believe that it is slated to be the final season of Picard. So
mhm,
we shall. Now, last best way move to our to the finish of our war report. Do you think Picard? Do you think it ends with him alive, or does he die?
die.
I agree with you.
Yeah, I think at
Given
this
it's the
point,
age of Patrick Stewart as
mm,
well, you just maybe send him out to the sunset.
right, and then let's just put a period on his legacy,
Yep.
and just be like, you know what, this is what he is. We got 3 good seasons of Picard. We had how many seasons of the Next
I think
Generation
we had 8
and
seasons of
movies?
the Next Generation plus the movies.
Right.
Yes,
Yeah, I mean, he's done his. I mean, like, he will forever be known as Charles Xavier and Jean-Luc Picard.
Picard. Think about
So,
two great legacies. You look at the sci-fi from the '90s forward. You know, the fact that you have played Professor X and Captain Picard again;
yeah.
those are two incredible legacies. Not that he's going anywhere,
Hmm.
but the fact that you've had those two characters that are just so beloved. And
Yeah.
most people, I think, will say Picard is their favorite captain.
Yeah.
Shatner so overacts, and you know what? William, come on the show, Bill. We'll gladly have you.
Yeah.
But to play most people's favorite captain, as well as the leader of the X-Men, I think again, what a great legacy. And again, not that Patrick Stewart is going anywhere anytime soon, but yeah, putting kind of a period on the character.
Hmm.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Now, as far as movies go, I was gonna go see The Woman King today,
Thank
but
you.
I just was not. I just I was gonna go to the 4 o'clock show, and I ended up going into work and getting called to do some other things. But then it was just too late. So I'm gonna try. I think I'm gonna try to go tomorrow, um, tomorrow or Tuesday. So, but I am really looking forward to that. We have Avatar coming back to the theater
On
in
Friday, correct?
3D on Friday. Yeah, it's gonna be in 3D on the grand screen. So, um, I'm gonna try to go to the advanced screening of that, so I don't have to try to make time for it later on. But and then other than we have, man, so we're gonna start getting some good movies coming in. Got Lyle Crocodile coming in here pretty
Yep.
soon. I'm doing a big thing for the theater for that. I got to send some emails tomorrow. I'm gonna do a kind of like a kids carnival type thing at the theater. So
Hmm.
we'll run some contests for 5 elementaries around, and then the library here in town, and we're gonna do like a coloring contest and put all that stuff up and give away some free
Wonderful.
tickets. So that's
Wonderful.
gonna be a lot of fun. And then on this coming up Tuesday, I do have 80s music bingo.
Nice.
Yes, I'm super looking forward to that. That is going to be so much fun. And I actually got a bunch of comics read today too. I was Kaylee
Time
was
well
watching.
spent.
Right, man. Like Kaylee was watching Call the Midwife, and well, I was gonna pay attention to that. So, got all caught up in Darth Vader. Got all caught up in all my Star Wars comics except for Star Wars. So, Doctor Aphra in Disney Plus. I do not know why you have not greenlit a Doctor Aphra show, but what are you waiting for? This is Han Solo, who's bisexual, set in the Star Wars universe, and is really good friends with Black Stanton. I mean, like, and
How has this not become a thing?
dude, and the actress that played remember Agents of Shield?
Yes.
Sky, the
Oh,
Daisy.
okay. Yes,
Man,
yes.
she would just be amazing at that part. Oh my god! But that's hopeful wishing. It's a great comic. It's one of the best created Star Wars characters that's been made outside of the movies. I mean, probably that's not been made by Dave Filoni or George Lucas. So I mean, Charles Soule, I think created her. So definitely, Dr. Aphra's great. Darth Vader is pretty much getting ready to go to war with Kira in the comics. So definitely go to your comic store, check all that stuff out. It will level up your awesome, just like my book, Leveling Up My Awesome, on sale at Amazon right now, $7.99, or contact me and I'll get you an autographed copy.
Well done, sir. And again, that is shameless plug number 4. Because remember, here at Revenge of the Nerds, we're going down the road that we've ever known. Like a drifter, we are born to walk alone. Together, yet alone. Anyway, don't forget, here we go again on our own.
I appreciate the voice snake. I thought you were going end of the road there for a second there.
No, when you have the 90s at the theater, then we'll drop a little Boys and Men. But we got to go straight up White Snake. And, by the way, just for a quick second, I just want to thank Tonica Tane. She knows for what.
Yes. I mean, Tonica Tane was the video starlet of the mid to late mid.
I would say early to mid, but yes.
Yeah.
She was yes.
Responsible for many.
The amount of turtle wax. Yes. I will just say she sold a lot of turtle wax.
Yeah.
There we go.
That's right.
Yes, sir.
So, Brian, do you have any honest advertising
I
today?
do, sir. I have a 2 this week.
Bring one on.
All right, so here we go. All right, proper intro. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, do you want proof that the world is truly going to end? Eat kale. Trying to cook this green leafy abomination from the pits of hell proves that not all plants should be burned. And the only gateway kale opens up is to oblivion. So get on your knees and say 420 individual prayers that kale is soon outlawed. Bradley Buchanan, the honest advertisement for kale.
That might be your best one yet. Oh,
Leia,
do you want to say hi?
Hi.
Hi, Princess, or should we call you Captain America?
You want to be Princess or you want to be Captain America?
Princess.
Well, how about Princess Captain America?
No.
We'll call you the PCA. Yeah. Pika? I don't know.
Yes, or Pika.
Pika. I like that better.
Meow.
Oh, you're meowing like cat. Okay.
Meowing.
Meow.
Yeah.
That beats yelling high in your ears, I'm sure.
Yeah, right? Oh, I know.
I don't know how many people are watching this.
I can tell that there's 2 people listening or watching right now, and you want to say hi to those people? Say hi, Leia.
Hi.
Well, you usually got to say that into the microphone to talk to people, but yeah, and then anybody can comment and talk to us right now. So,
by the way, since we talked about the Queen from RIP, you got to give it to Camilla Parker Bowles, who proves that even a side chick can make a come up.
Yep, absolutely. Oh, so Brian,
Sir.
so we had a plan of what we were gonna do.
Yes.
Oh no, here, leave that here, Leah. Today, and I called an audible, and on the
You did,
last
sir.
second, I like
You
Brian.
called
You
an
know what?
audible like Brett Favre getting welfare money from the state of Mississippi. Yes, you did, sir.
And so I was driving to take Anna back to her mom, and I'm like, you know what? No, we're gonna talk about this, and so I'm gonna spring this on you. The
I am
topic
not
of our
prepared,
prevenge.
so let's see what we get here. All right.
Perfect. So you have no idea what the prevenge. I kind of like that actually. What the prevenge is going on today.
What the revenge is happening here? Yes,
So we're gonna talk because yesterday was Batman Day,
it was.
and we're gonna talk about what
It was
makes
World Batman Day.
it
Just to
was
give
World
it
Batman Day,
give it the proper level of reverence. It was
right?
World Batman Day. Yes.
And so one of the biggest things that makes Batman, you don't get Batman without this. We're going to talk about the villains of Batman. So
Love
we're
it.
going to try to answer a couple of questions. One, what makes a good Batman villain? Why are the Batman rogues the best? And then we're going to try to create our own Batman villain
Gotcha.
that will never probably see the light of DC. But I think Brian, I think we're gonna try to flush this out a little bit.
It works.
So what do you think about that, sir?
I love it. I love it because again, so you know what, the villain makes the hero, and in the world of DC, Batman definitely has the best rogues gallery,
Mhm.
uh, bar none. Probably, and you'd have to argue in the world of comics, either he or Spider-Man have the best overall litany of villains. So
Yeah,
absolutely, can't wait to dig into it.
sweet. So and not just Joker. I mean, obviously your brain is gonna go straight to Joker, but Batman's villains are so much more, and there's on so many different levels, and
Yes,
that's one of the reasons why Batman is what he is. I mean, he can fight the superhumans. He can fight.
right,
He can fight Superman. I mean, but then he can also he show the soft side. And there's a couple of episodes of the animated series that you will cry in because
absolutely,
of what happens. I mean, like
right,
um the swing. I don't remember the name of the episode, but I remember there's an episode, and it takes place with a little girl on a swing, and and it's Batman telling a story, and that like is one of the most. I vividly remember this, unless it's a
mhm,
Mandela effect, but um, the Batman the swing in the animated series, he takes on people like Scarecrow, and then
right,
he takes on mental health. There's so
absolutely,
much involved in
absolutely,
those villains.
absolutely. And one of the things that makes them, we'll kind of dig more into this. So I think one of the things that makes Batman, and I think it's also what he has similar in common with Spider-Man, which I think they're why their rose galleries
Mhm.
are so well thought of, is that Batman rarely has enemies that are truly evil. So if you contrast that with Superman, so Superman's top two villains that he fights would probably be Lex Luthor and Darkseid, both of whom are just straight up evil. And they come on kind of different sides of the spectrum.
Mhm.
Darkseid believes he's a god and wants to take over all of humanity in his search for the anti-life equation. And Lex Luthor just is a megalomaniacal person who wants to rule the world and will probably be elected president in today's world. In fact, that may have happened. Never mind, I'll stop. Okay. By the way, if we ever get a low budget Justice League movie, I think we know who could play Lex Luthor, and we'll just leave it at that. All right. If Lex is just not in shape at all. Okay. With Tiny
I
Hank,
mean, he was an Orange Lantern.
th- sir. You know how when you watch Demolition Man, you go, it may be coming true,
Mhm.
sir. All right. Versus when you look at the majority, if not all, of Batman's rogues, every single one of them has a tragic background. So there's something relatable to them. Mr. Freeze really is just in the search of trying to cure his beloved. Uh, um, you know, um, Poison Ivy has been abused. In fact, that's a common thing where a lot of the
Yeah.
female villains in his gallery, whether it's Poison Ivy, whether it's Catwoman, whether it's Harley Quinn. By the way, I finally dove into the Harley Quinn show on HBO. Oh my goodness, it is so tongue in cheek. It is a mature. I think it is completely the child of the '60s kid show, just with a lot more four letter words. So it is right in that same vein of tongue in cheek, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, which I absolutely love. And I gotta say, my favorite character on there is the Riddler. And mental health, you mentioned it. So and some of the characters definitely go. Two-Face has been diagnosed with dissociative identity disorder. The Riddler has been diagnosed with OCD. There's all these things that are real that again make their villains in Batman Rose Gallery relatable. And even if they're the bad guy, the bad woman, the person you want to see lose, Bane's loves himself to steroids. Probably could play in the NFL. By the way, Bane would be a great professional wrestler. Can you imagine that if that had never been in the comics and some dude just showed up with the mask and that voice with that physique, automatically AEW World Champion?
So Brian,
going to happen. Yes, sir.
So do you know who the voice of the Joker is in the Harley Quinn show?
I do not.
Alan Tudyk.
Of course.
Do you know?
Of course. Yes.
Who is the voice of Batman in it?
It's not Kevin Conroy. Who is it?
Diedrich Bader.
Oh, beautiful.
He was in Office Space. I mean,
yes, I know Diedrich Bader. I'm actually binging The American Housewife, in which he plays the male lead, and he's just fantastic. Diedrich Bader is great. It's really great, really funny, great dry wit, perfect fit.
Right, and he's a really good voice. Yeah, it's actually really, really good. So JB Smooth is Frank the Plant.
Yes.
Yep. And who is the voice of Commissioner Gordon?
Who is that?
Christopher Maloney.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Stabler is Commissioner Gordon.
Yes. Well, that off-kiltered, intense to the point of fracture cop. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, pretty much.
But yeah, go ahead, keep talking. I was one of the quizzes.
No. So your original question is what kind of makes his Rose Gallery so good? Part of it is just relatable. I had that same thought coming out of Avengers: Infinity War, where you had Thanos, who does a horrible thing, is for the 50% of all living creatures, but at the same time you go, yeah, but he's not wrong. I mean, there are a lot of us. Or I heard this with, again, to draw the Harry Potter universe, Voldemort is living out his trauma. So with every villain that he has, there's something that is innately human and relatable with those villains. So while you want to see Batman prevail, you don't hate the villains, you just want to see him win. So that's why a lot of his villains have such great fandom. I mean, Joker is probably one of the more popular characters in DC, as is Catwoman. Harley Quinn, definitely, the movie didn't hurt her popularity at all. And remember, she was created strictly for the animated series show for the 90s. And that character's popularity has gone gangbusters. There are people who go Mr. J and Harley is relationship goals. Let's not throw each other in baths of chemicals, though. We can avoid that. Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
And being psychopathic.
It's all homicide is fun until you get caught, right? Okay.
Right.
Yes.
What Joker are we talking about? All right. Are we talking about which apparently DC did finally release the actual name of the Joker? Anyway, but
which I prefer, similar to Logan. Just don't give me a backstory.
Right.
So there's something just so iconic. I don't want to know.
Right. And I think that's the draw of that character. Like a lot of the characters, we can know that information and care more about. Sure. Like Poison Ivy. The more you think, the more
you know about Pamela Isley, absolutely.
Yeah, the more you like
can
them.
relate. Yes.
Right.
Knowing Harvey Dent helps Two-Face. Absolutely.
Yeah, exactly. And then those internal struggles. And then you have the Joker.
Yes.
And the Joker, there are no rules. You know, the Joker is 100% chaos, and I think that that's the draw of that character. And again, Batman can handle, because Batman's whole thing is he's prepared. Like
Absolutely.
he's doing the work. Batman is who he is. Bruce
that's
Wayne
Batman's
is
superpower. Batman's superpower is that Batman is Batman. That's his
Yeah.
superpower. Yes.
yeah, and Bruce Wayne is the costume.
Yes. Yes,
So-
absolutely. By the way, wouldn't it be so lucky to have a Playboy billionaire as your costume?
Right?
Oh, sure. I'll go do that today because I must. Right? We got to
Yeah.
keep up the appearances. So let me go drive my Jag and be good looking. Yeah. Which I will say, I got to give it to Gord the God Killer. You know, kind of digging Christian Bale. He may be my favorite. Okay, taking out Loki, he may be my favorite Thor villain.
Yeah, but Loki, hard to count him because he was you could a lot like Poison Ivy.
Yes.
They're a bad guy, but you like them a lot.
Absolutely.
You root for Loki by the end,
Absolutely.
and that's what a good actor did to the character. That's what
Absolutely.
Tom Hiddleston did.
Plus, it doesn't hurt you look and sound like Tom Hiddleston. It's kind of hard not to, root for that. Like, sure, yeah, thanks, Tom.
I really wanted him to be the next James Bond.
Oh, wouldn't that have been ideal?
I know they haven't announced it. I heard that Henry Cavill is in the running. Which I'm fine with that. But like, man,
but if it had been Tom Hiddleston, you wouldn't even have to make a movie. You could have had him sit and literally film him reading the script, and it would have made you, $500 million. Absolutely.
Right. He could just sit there, and when the stunt comes up, he could just describe the stunt.
Yes.
And we would all be like, "Oh, whoa!"
Yes. Yeah. or they could have revamped it. I see it now. 007 Glorious Purpose. Like this has like the veiled response. All of a sudden, all of his suits are green. He walking around with a little alligator with, just a thing. Perfect. Sylvie could have been a Bond female. Been great.
Yeah.
This totally told us, we're like, you know what? We're not even going to pretend. Right. Absolutely. All right. Back to Joker. Back to Batman and Batman villains. Yes, sir.
So we talked a little bit about what makes a good Batman villain, which is having that you can look both ways. You have the Two-Face. The only villain out there really is the Joker. That he's just that, right?
Yeah, and even with Joker, depending if you believe the Red Hood version of the Joker, even that is a tragic. And by the way, for those of you that are maybe less accustomed to the Joker, one of the things why Brad and I were talking so much about, why we don't like the fact that they've given the Joker a firm origin, backstory, real name is the idea that the Joker's psychopathic behavior, that he didn't even remember who he was. While if you watch then The Dark Knight, again, RIP to Heath Ledger, and I think who is everyone's favorite Joker, or at least top two, definitely. When he talks about the scars on the face, and if you notice in the movie, he gives a different version of how he got those scars. That alludes to the Joker remembers, and it's not a lie. The Joker literally remembers his backstory, his history differently every time. So that's why no one knows really who the Joker is, including the Joker. So kind of like with Wolverine for years, we didn't know. We knew he went by the name Logan. We didn't know all of his backstory, and Marvel eventually gave us that's the origin story of Wolverine. We're starting to head that way with the Joker, and there's so few mysteries in most comics anymore. Give us a few. Just give us a few we don't want to know.
Yeah, and the thing that I like about the Joker, and I think that they're screwing this up by doing this, is that the Joker could be anybody. Like you could, yes, 3 Jokers go. Yeah, whatever. It wasn't that great. 3 Jokers was not that great.
Including Bruce Wayne's mom, including Alfred. There's been lots of different ways that the Joker, and for those of you that get what? Yes, there are stories in which both Martha Wayne becomes the Joker, and Alfred is actually the Joker. So
and actually,
Right.
Oh, I was just gonna say right now in Flashpoint Beyond, they're actually flushing out Martha Wayne's Joker
Yes.
right now, and I think the final issue came out. I'll talk about it next week, or maybe on
Sure.
Wednesday I can talk about it a little bit.
Sure.
I got to read 2 more of those, but and it's a good story point like that. But there's also Earth 3 Joker is a good guy, the
Yes.
jokester.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
and it's he's up against he is unpredictable because Owlman isn't, you
Right.
know.
Right.
So which I'm actually surprised there's not more with like Earth 3, with the bad Batman, good Joker type of thing, you know. But there again, that's just the power of the Batman mythos is
Exactly.
is that you can turn on its head and all that, and still come out with the good stories. Because I mean, if Batman ever was ever to fail, DC Comics would go bankrupt.
Absolutely.
Marvel, I mean, I think Marvel would jump at the bit to buy Batman,
Oh my goodness.
but
Oh my
nothing
goodness.
else.
But that also goes back to the original topic, which is what makes these things so to make the villain so relatable is, and that has played out, especially with the well written. Most of the
Mhm.
Batman comics again also sort of have been some of the best written products that DC has put out.
Mm,
But if things bounce just one particular way with Batman, he totally could have been a villain. I mean, they
mhm,
showed that when they introduced Hush. Like, you know
mhm,
what? If things had just went a little differently, you could be a villain. I mean, there's not much difference between Batman and Ra's al Ghul, Batman and Hush, Batman and Lex Luthor. To be honest, was like, you know what? A child of privilege. He lost his parents at an early age, senseless violence. He's definitely got some rage issues.
mhm.
Hey, he really could have been like, I'm going, and he fights that.
Yeah.
A lot of his Justice League, Tower of Babel, is a great one. That in his quest to protect the world and always have a contingency plan because he can't trust anyone, is he actually risking being a villain when it comes to even how the rest of the Justice League
Mhm.
perceives him? So there's so much in Batman that is a hero that can easily be a villain, that it only makes sense to give him a bunch of villains that had the ball bounce a little bit the other way. You see it with certain characters like Catwoman that, you know what, things bounce a little bit the other way, and we may have, instead of a villain, an anti-hero or a straight up hero.
Yeah, man, that's 100% correct. I don't got anything I could add to that. I mean, and he's been written by so many great. I mean, like Scott Snyder's done a great job. Jeff Johns done a great job. I mean, Frank
You got
Miller
to
with
give Frank Miller, right? I
I
mean,
mean,
that's the way the list
oof.
really begins, right?
Well, he's number
Um,
one. I mean, like The
yes,
Dark Knight
yes,
Returns
yes,
is
yes,
probably. I mean, Dark Knight Returns is probably the greatest Batman story that's ever been written. I
absolutely.
mean, maybe oh Nightfall would be up there.
Yeah, yeah,
I mean, but there again, that was the 90s. I mean,
hmm,
Nightfall, the death of Superman. I mean, like
right.
those two shaped all of comics
Some,
in the
yeah,
90s.
yeah, including some of the biggest either plot points or just visual pieces. And again, when again back to Dark Knight Returns, when Bane lifts Batman up and he goes, I break your spirit and I break your body, and he literally breaks Batman's back. That is
Mhm.
directly from those comics, and the iconography and the pictures and all those things. Just again, that sets the stage. And of course, if you're Zack Snyder, you try and put every piece of significant Batman and Superman mythos into a 2-hour movie, and that's great. Let's put them all in there together with no rhyme or
Yeah.
reason or context. Yeah.
And then he gets thrown into a pit, and that's a pit that's actually a city of people, and
And it's
then
somehow in the Middle East, but next door to Gotham City, because he gets there without
yeah,
transportation, like 2 hours of a
yeah,
city that no one can get into. But the military can't get into with any technology, but Bruce Wayne just strolls in like he's walking in the park on a Sunday afternoon.
he was
That,
playing Clue, and he took the
yes,
secret passageway into the conservatory.
Yes. By the way, or you're so worried about the cops that you lock them down in these caverns, yet you
Mhm.
people are taking them food, which you're fully aware of. I mean,
Yeah.
that shows you how good of a movie it is.
Hmm.
That those really breaks in plain logic, you have to wait till the movie's over and really figure out, like, wait, how did he just, like, where is the pit?
Hmm.
And again, how quickly were they able to get him out of Gotham to the pit, and him to get back from? Because if you see again, we're going on a slight bit of a tangent. When Ra's al Ghul got out of the, excuse me, when Talia got, okay, spoiler alert, when Talia got out of the pit, or when Ra's actually back in the day was walking away from the pit, it's in the middle of the desert, and it totally is meant to look like the Middle East, Africa.
Yeah.
Yet he got both from an unconscious, broken human being, literally broken, got there and put in the pit. Which, by the way, don't you love the medical attention? Let's just hit your spine and
Hmm.
you're good, right? That's that. That's some
Yeah.
I mean, that's some HMO medicine right there. And he's perfectly fine because again, he's Batman. Yeah.
I mean, he's
So
not wrong.
right. So those variety of things that again the movie that shows you how good a movie is when you go, yeah, it's
Yep.
fine, it's
Yeah, we
fine.
won't pay attention to
Yeah,
that.
one of the most famous people in the world is
plot
hanging out in
holes.
France, and no
Yep.
one notices them. No
Yep.
one notices. Yeah,
Yeah, plot holes. That's
yeah.
okay.
Didn't we just have this
we'll
really
drive
big?
around the
Yeah, we
plot
had this
hole.
big public funeral for you, and all these
Yeah.
memorials, and you're just sitting on the Champs Elysees sipping wine, with
With Anne Hathaway.
with Anne Hathaway. Yeah, like, no, it's fine. It's
Yep.
fine.
Nothing to
Fine.
see here.
Yeah,
Nothing to see here. Move
yeah.
along.
No one pulls out their cellar. Hey, you look like, yeah, nope, not a thing.
These are not the droids you are looking for.
Yeah, not to mention he was about 10 feet away from a nuclear blast and had no ill effects. None.
Right.
Because
Yep.
you know why, Bradley? He's
I'm
Batman.
Yep.
Absolutely.
All right, Brian. So we have one thing left we need to do here.
Yes, sir.
We need to create our own Batman villain. So what purpose is this villain going to be? Is this going to be, should we make him like psychological? Should we make him more physical? How do you perceive our villain, or the person we are going to make up, get his ass kicked by Batman?
I think if you want to have a true Batman villain, the best Batman villains don't come to him with strength. They come to him psychologically. They hit him where he is weak, which as strong as Bats is.
Mhm.
Bats' weakness is his humanity, which he tries to hide. So the same reason that he always struggles with killing the Joker, while he struggles with his feelings for Catwoman and Talia al Ghul, and strangely Batgirl, who in some comics also basically his de facto niece / daughter. That gets into some ickiness there. And why he includes on adopting small children, dressing them up in costumes, sliding up and down the bat pole. Taking all those things aside, his best villains are the ones that completely use psychology as their way in. So this, and I personally think this should be a female villain, and someone that could attack him psychologically more so than physically.
How about this? I got a name.
I got you.
The Reader. The Reader
Huh.
is a mental. She's a meta. So
Sure.
But she can read and plant anybody's mind that she touches.
Nice.
So she would be like just a normal person.
Nice.
But when the one person that she can't read is Bruce Wayne
/ Batman when she
/
encounters
Batman.
him and cannot read. Yes.
Right. So obviously she knows something about it, and then maybe like maybe she worked at Wayne Enterprises or something like that.
Sure.
But the Reader can implant things into people. So she pretty much has got the powers of Charles Xavier.
Gotcha.
So she could stop pretty much anybody, even Superman and anything like that. But for some reason, not Bruce Wayne / Batman.
And as you know, Bradley, her alter ego, the first name has to be Martha, and I mean that sincerely.
Oh, yeah.
It has to be Martha, because we have to have again that psychological ilk where he will struggle with battling her, where he knows he must defeat Martha. So we play with that name just given when we had Batman versus Superman: Dawn of Justice. How do you know that name? Because it's a name. I mean, it's not like it's not even the most uncommon name in the
Mhm.
world because I can spell. Okay. How do you think, by the way, based on the theories in that movie, how do you think you would feel if someone else was named Thomas, or how about this, Bruce? How do you feel he would feel? How do you know? So yeah.
That's a
Okay.
good point. So, Martha, what about if she found out that she was related to
Yes.
one of the Waynes through
Yes.
like one of those like 23
Yes.
or Me or
Yes.
one of those type of websites, and
Yes.
so she thinks that she's related to Bruce.
Well, how about
So,
she cannot be? How about this one? Just to play on that same idea, maybe the reason she can't read him is that she can't read biological relatives, and
ooh.
let's say since they've done a good job of showing that Thomas Wayne in many incarnations was not the best guy in the world.
Hmm.
She's the result of a Thomas Wayne affair, so she is Bruce's half sister.
I like
So
it.
then that again gives a little more layered
Hmm.
that, because think about it, he has the Bat family.
Hmm.
This is legitimately a member of the Wayne family who is a villain who, again, her powers don't work on him due to, again, we've seen this setup. It was more in the Marvel universe where you have two mutants that are blood related all the time, like the Summers. Their powers don't work on each other. That could be
Hmm.
basically what it is. That her psychic ability does not work on Bruce Wayne or anyone else she has any blood relation to. She knows she's basically Thomas Wayne's bastard. So she grew up in poverty, which definitely, again, were few. She grew up in Hell's Kitchen, all those things, and so she's forever trying to just get her keys to the Wayne Kingdom. Maybe she's even older than Bruce. So she really should have been the one that inherited
Hmm.
the keys to the kingdom. She did not, and because she knows she can't read Bruce, when she encounters Batman, say Batman even rescues her. She can't read Batman, which right there lets her know that Batman and Bruce are the same person.
I really dig that. I really dig that. And so you have that emotional. Now, I will say that they did just do something really similar with Nightwing, where they introduced his long lost sister in Bloodhaven,
Hmm.
working for the Bloodhaven mayor, which was actually some villain. I can't remember his name. But they did it in a good way. It was fine. It's fine. So yeah, I definitely like that. I definitely think there's something there. Um, and then she could be trying to get Wayne Manor,
Yes.
her piece of the pie. So
Yes.
she's kind of
Yes.
attacking Bruce
Yes.
as Martha, and she's also attacking Bruce as the reader. And
Right.
so she's made all these like stock exchange, stock, pretty much ripping off because she can read minds.
Absolutely.
Like going to like the casinos. Maybe she owns a casino or something. Kind of play along with the whole Thomas Wayne and Earth 2
And
type thing.
if you want to add another layer of it, they could even go that she went to Wayne Manor the day after Thomas and Martha were killed, and Alfred turns her away, but Alfred knows who she is. So Alfred tried to protect the legacy of the Waynes, and you can have a moment where you see Bruce confronting Alfred, Alfred admitting that he knew. But go, you were a child. I didn't want to, you had already lost your parents once and want you to lose your
Mhm.
dad again. I mean, it kind of writes itself at that point. So you now have a bit of a break between Alfred and Bruce. Bruce feels more alone. He's got he has actual family.
Mhm.
And you can even say I can see the screen, the storyboard in my head where he goes to walk away and Alfred goes, Master Bruce, we're family. And he goes, no, she's my family. And goes off to try and save the reader who does not want to be saved.
Right. And then, it's one of those things like, will family ties make her more of like an anti-hero? Because she's not really bad.
Right.
She's not like going out killing people or anything like that.
Sure.
She's
She's
psychological.
Yeah, it's very much Robin Hood. She's taking from the rich to feed the
Mhm.
poor, you know.
Yeah.
She only and she only uses her money to again take down corrupt organizations, corrupt corporations.
Mhm.
So she has not done anything criminal as much as and maybe what happens is if she reads your mind, it does maybe do some type of physical harm to you.
Mm.
So there's a reason that Batman is investing in her in stopping
Mhm.
her, that the
Mhm.
more the more that she reads someone's mind, she starts to do brain damage. So again, you got to give her that ilk. Well, she's not a complete angel. She has to
Mhm.
be stopped. But again, she's not necessarily evil as she's doing what it takes to survive.
Yeah, and then almost give her the Xavier type thing where like Cerebro. So maybe
Sure.
like she creates a device that amplifies the powers, and but when she does read something, uh, like they will see her face everywhere,
Sure.
but like they won't be able to see her, because she could put she could put things into their minds. So I like it.
And again, I love that. And again, I like the idea. So we'll have. Then the only thing I'm thinking about is could we tie in? So we know who her, and again, we keep playing with all this. And again, DC Warner Brothers, give us a call. We'll make this work for you.
Mhm.
Because we know you're listening. By the way, Brad, you didn't say that the two people that are listening, one of which is Warner Brothers and the other which is Disney.
Oh yeah.
Yes, we just want to be very clear with that.
Say hi,
Um,
guys. We love your products.
Yes, absolutely. Well, but can you give us Darth Jar Jar? That's all we want.
Yeah, please.
But with that being said, if we could somehow tie in that, the woman who was her mother, it is somehow tied to maybe, ooh, what if her mother was a member of like the Falcone crime family? So
Mm,
so she's been cast out by the Waynes, she's been cast out by the Falcones, but maybe just maybe as they understand as maybe gets out that she has these abilities, the gangsters want to take her to use her for really nefarious reasons. So on one hand, Martha Falcone is trying to, and that we just named her,
mm,
is trying to escape the mob. But on the other hand, her attempts to to take back her keys to the kingdom with Wayne Manor. So I think those things. So that gives her some investment from the Bruce Wayne side when she's looking at trying to take over, at least get a part of Wayne Industries, and the Batman piece of it, where you've got the Falcone crime family that is trying, or the Maroni, either one. Probably
mhm.
Maronis will even be better because they're more violent, to protect her. So I think you've got the Bruce Wayne connection, the Batman connection, the Underground connection, and
Gotham.
all these things that are just really there. And I can just see, and if we're gonna do it, we just want at some point your boy Dick Grayson to call her, "Hey, Auntie." That
Oh,
we really want that drop just real quick.
what was the aunt in the '66 Batman show? What was her name? I can't remember.
Shoot. Okay, that's
It
good.
could be more like an homage to her, almost like.
Yes, yes,
Um,
yes.
what if the reader, whenever she reads you, you don't remember her at all,
Okay.
and maybe that happened to Bruce when she was so young, and so now will never remember her.
I like that. I
So kind
like
of like
that.
the 51st dates like thing, but hey, I'm related. So every day, like every day he goes to sleep, he wakes up and he does not remember that he has this family member. So she could try to come in, and so you could get that story point in there, and you could retcon her into many parts of his life as well.
And with you saying that, by the way, Google, thank you. It's Aunt Harriet.
Aunt
Uh,
Harriet.
and
Mhm.
then with you
So
saying that,
Martha Harriet.
yes, and with you having that with that piece, then you know who you'd have to get. Think about how awesome this would be if you did this in, the new Batverse. If you either in the comics have this person be the inspiration for how she looks, or if you did it live action as a cast as actress. How about you have it be Drew Barrymore actually doing that. I mean, come on, she could do
Yeah.
it. She's got great acting chops. I don't believe she's been in anything in
Mhm.
either universe, be perfect, and she looks like, and I don't know why, part of me goes, she looks like there's enough similarity between her and Alicia Silverstone that you go, hey, you know what? Maybe bring a Batgirl. By the way,
Right.
yeah, by the way, I really hope at some point, because I just really thought the Alicia Silverstone Batgirl did not get a fair treatment, that maybe we can do something for Alicia going forward.
Alicia Silverstone as Batgirl was a good idea.
It was
The
completely a good
way
idea.
the way they did it was
Yeah.
not a good
It was
idea.
not a good idea, but the casting was really good. Of all the casting, my biggest issue with the casting was Chris O'Donnell as Robin, because I thought he was far too old. Seriously, that made the relationship much more brotherly than
Mhm.
fatherly son. And as great an actress Uma Thurman is, they did not give her enough time to be Poison Ivy. And
Mhm.
of course, whatever the hell that Bane character was.
Mm.
Whatever the hell that Bane.
Better forgot.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah,
At
yeah.
this point, we want Venom to eat that version of Bane.
I want Amalgam. I want Bane and Venom to actually become one character. The
I
next time, the next time that that the DC and Marvel read
Yes,
that they connect, I want the symbiote to take over Bane and to follow him over to DC. Just like I want there to be a Green Lantern Corps, or the Light Corps. I guess is it Light Corps or
sure.
the emotional cores? What is the correct for all the different
I
cores?
think it's the light core. At least that's what I
Okay.
go with. But
Okay.
also, if we, and if we did that, we could also say that in any world where Bane and Venom are the same person, it can be a dream within a dream.
Hmm.
Played by one and only Tom Hardy. So
Yeah.
yes, yes. And for those that don't get
Good
that very
job.
obscure reference, Tom
Inception,
Hardy,
buddy.
who plays Bane, who also plays the good Bane, who's also the better bad Bane, who also plays Venom, also famously is in Inception, and again, The Dream Within a Dream,
Mhm.
because similar, use the same troupe of actors. So
Dude,
yes,
that one worked on
you like that?
very many levels. You win today, dude. That
Thank you, thank
y-
you.
yeah, that is the Tom Hardy win right
Yes,
there.
yes,
I mean,
yes.
I don't think that could ever be beaten.
I am personally a huge Tom Hardy fan, so
Hmm.
anything I can give to give him a little bit of love. And again, you gotta love anything that Christopher Nolan does as well. So
Mm.
there we go. There we go.
Yes, I concur, man. So we created a new villain,
Yes,
Martha,
yes.
Martha Harriet, who
Martha
is
Harriet Maroney. Yes,
yes, and she is the reader.
yes,
I'm not good at art, but anyway, we did it. I think we flushed out a good
yes,
thing about
yes,
Batman villains.
yes.
We gave definitely some good love. Now it is time to everything, which means pitch, fix, and or ditch.
However, before we, because I want to give you time to,
Oh,
because for ladies and gentlemen, if you didn't see how much it spit on himself, to give you a moment to clean yourself up, may I interject with a real quick, honest advertisement?
yes, please do.
All right, so we've talked about kale. Now let's jump to the other end of the spectrum. Pandemics, poverty, and economic peril. We live in a time where we divide ourselves based on geography, politics, and a made-up cartoon half-fish girl named Ariel. In a world gone mad, there's only one thing that can save us. A power greater than the Avengers, the Justice League, and the Broadway cast of Hamilton combined, our savior is bacon. That's right, sweet, smoky, crispy bacon. The only thing that Republicans and Democrats, boomers and snowflakes alike can agree on is our love of bacon. Whether you call it Porky, Piglet, or even Babe. Get yourself a whole plate full of Wilbur today. And for our vegetarian and vegan friends, F you, we love bacon.
That was good.
Thank you.
I will say I don't think you reached the level of Kale, but that was close. That one was definitely pretty close.
You know what? And I normally ask people not to sue us, but trust me, the Kale organization, whatever they're called, you know what? Come cash these hands. You don't want the smoke.
Oh yes, 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 yes. All right, buddy. Good job. Well done, Brian. Now, I think for today's pitch, fix, and or
Yes.
ditch, we've been talking about Batman. Let's just keep it up. So let's
Do it.
pitch our new Batman. Let's pitch a new Batman. How would you do it? How would you do your Batman if they gave you the keys to Batman? How would you do it?
Well, I think at this point, just to completely piss off everybody else, we're gonna make our Batman, a Muslim lesbian crackhead. So that's where it's starting. That's where it's starting. Okay. But no, all right. So we're really gonna start with Batman. I think honestly, kind of like we've done with Miles Morales, when it comes to Spider-Man, I always think those two lead into each other between Batman and Superman. Is again, we have someone that inherits the keys to the kingdom. So I think the obvious one will be we're going to make Damian Wayne the eventual next Batman. That's where we start with. So I think we don't recreate canon. We just take canon to the next level. So I'm sorry, Terry McGinnis. This is no clones allowed. Spoiler alert. We're just going to have it be Damian Wayne, because you know what? A hero named Damian is really the hero that Gotham City really deserves. So
You're not wrong.
yes. So the basic pitch is this: we jump ahead where literally Batman has died, and we know that usually with Batman, death is a transitory experience. But Batman has died, and we have Damian Wayne, who spends some time brooding, deciding that he is going to take up the mantle of Batman, and the whole process would be him deciding he's going to be Batman amidst the protests of Dick Grayson, of Red Hood, of Catwoman, of Huntress, of that entire Bat family going, it's time to put it down. There's some that would go, well, maybe it should be like Lucius Fox. Maybe it should be Dick Grayson. Dick Grayson goes, no, I'm Nightwing. I don't want to be Batman. Similar to kind of how we saw between Winter Soldier and Falcon, them fighting over the legacy of Captain America. We see a legacy of Batman, and really everyone going, not it. And I think that would be because no one can be Batman but Batman. But the only person that believes that he can be Batman and do it better is Damian Wayne.
I like that. I like that a lot. And so mine would be something a little more messed up. So
Let's hear it.
Mine would be that we're gonna play on a trope, on like a fan, like whatever. Is that this kid, after seeing the death of his mother and father, it's just scars him for life, and he's institutionalized. And the Batman is what he creates all in his mind. And so it's all going to be told through the lens of a kid pretending that, like meeting the Joker. He's going to meet Joe Kerr, orderly or whatever, and then something's going to trick in his mind, and he's going to create the Joker, and he's the Batman. The shrink is Harley Quinn,
Sure.
Harleen Quinn, and she's trying to help him, and just a quick just a quick pause. How far did you get in the Harley Quinn show?
I think 4 episodes.
In season 3, or you started at the beginning?
I'm starting from the beginning.
Okay, because I'll tell you what, there is an episode in the newest season that is some of the best. It is probably one of the best Batman things ever.
Okay.
And I can't wait for you to see it. You will absolutely know when it happens. So, yeah. Anyway, but so all the big things that we know about Batman, we're gonna tell in the form of this kid whose mind is just broken. His the Alfred, who kind of is his only true living person that cares about him, and he's now just
Sure.
taking care of Wayne Manor. Will keeps coming to see him, but he's nothing that like the Alfred we know from the comics.
Perfect.
And so I'll make it really, really gritty. It's just going to be a one movie, or one show. I mean, I guess you could
Hmm.
probably do more, but really just hit the mental aspect of it. And then you can even go off and do the Superman, showing up Superman, where and all those things that the lighter side of Batman shows up, or like Superman and Green Arrow, or maybe
Hmm.
even those are in the real life in his world. But Batman is just this made up person in this little boy's mind who just witnessed his parents being killed.
I love it because again, what we see is, hey, when things get too hard for me to handle, I will retreat into myself, and you can be done.
Your own Batcave.
Yes, there it is. And you
Mhm.
can even do it similarly as they did with Joker, that in moments he's himself, and in others he again is really living in that Batman world. And you could do visually like some breaks of what the real world looks like versus he's walking down the street of this small town versus what he's seeing is those gritty streets of Gotham. I love that idea.
Mhm. Yep. And you could pretty much do it in any time period too. I mean, you could do it in like the 30s, 40s. I think something like that would be really cool set in the 30s. And
Absolutely.
and like the true time when Batman was made, you know. Um and yeah, I actually really like that idea. Have it more of a period piece instead of a super technological,
Sure.
whatever, because we haven't come uh I mean, I want to say we've come a long ways in mental health, but I don't. I mean, maybe I
I
don't know.
mean, and so that's a very relative, even term there
Right,
is
right,
long way. Like what is a long way, right? So
right.
I do like the idea of doing that. And I mean, you can't honestly talk about Batman without talking about mental health, just because it is such
Mhm,
a thing, whether by design or through interpretation. I mean, again, there's the really obvious ones like Joker and Harley Quinn, Two Face, but you could draw that same lines with Poison Ivy, with Catwoman, with Penguin, with Riddler, and
mhm.
obviously with Batman himself.
Yeah.
So again, just again keeping those things front of mind, and this is what I see versus what I perceive. And this little boy who just experienced this horrible tragedy retreats into the
Mhm.
comics, and where he is going to be Batman. Because remember, at the end of the day, Batman doesn't lose because again, his superpower is Batman. Is Batman.
Yeah, and then maybe a few years after he's been there for like maybe 5 or 6 years or something like that, he reads a newspaper where the Flying Graysons were at the
Hmm.
circus, or maybe Alfred comes and takes him to the circus where Dick Grayson's mom and dad die,
Right.
and then it just kind of breaks him all back all over again, and then he creates Robin. You know?
Well, yeah, because what you would want to have would be every time he's confronted with reality, it actually makes the retreat further and further into the delusion, and whatever he is faced
Yeah.
with, that becomes, the how these people are perceived. So let's say, the attorney that's supposed to handle his parents' estate is also robbing him blind. So he's a two-faced individual. This person becomes two-faced. So you've got all these different things you could do to again to show this play out in a lot of different ways, and I really, really like the idea.
Thank you very much. So that was our pitch. I man, fix a ditch. I think. Is there anything, any part of Batman that you would like to forget?
Oh, as far as the comic book, not so much. And as far as the movies, we know we want to forget the bat nipples. It's just,
Mm,
but and we draw far too much in that. I mean, honestly, to me, the Red Eyes were more of a. The hockey team was much more not the Red Eyes, that's Mystery Men,
mm.
but the hockey team with Mister Freeze and all those things, that was much more forgettable, much more egregious than putting on the nipples when it came to the bat suits. I was just saying, I would love, love, love to forget Batman and Robin, and we can just do away with that. Batman Returns, and Batman Forever.
Mhm.
I think those were much better
Yeah.
films. So just do that. But when it comes to the comics, is there's one thing that we may want to fix when it comes to this, which is honestly, I've never been a big fan of Oracle. I like Batgirl much better. So
Mhm.
we just do away with that whole storyline with her getting shot.
You
I think we
so you
can
want to
just
get
do
rid of
away.
the Killing Joke?
I do want to get rid of the Killing Joke. I know that's got bigger ramifications, but just how about just that one particular piece? Just that one particular piece.
Yeah, and I would love DC to do like maybe just 10 years in the future with where Dick and Barbara are married, because guys, they're going to get married. Like that is your Bat family wedding right there.
Which
Not
makes all the
Batman, not
allusions to
Batcat.
Batman and Batgirl just creepy, right? Because that's not how it would
Right.
go.
And it should never go that way. Like I tell you what, that part when they did that in the Killing Joke animated movie,
Yes.
I was like, who thought that was a good idea? Like, why?
Not to mention, I mean, as far as Batman's best friend, it probably is Commissioner Gordon,
Mhm.
and you just knowingly hooked up with his daughter. Like, really?
Yeah, yeah.
Really? Like at that
Mm.
point, he really is living his best billionaire life at that moment. Like, why
Touche.
not? Why not? Yeah.
Right.
So,
I mean,
yeah.
you're a bat. I'm a bat. I'm Batman. You're Bat
Girl.
girl, woman.
Well, if it's Batwoman, Batwoman is less interested in Batman as you would imagine. So,
Yeah. Batwoman is a horrible character.
well, and the thing of it is, and this is two guys really debating on the value of a bunch of female characters, which
Right.
that by itself is problematic. But
Yeah.
that's probably the best thing to do with fixing it, is that they've never done a good female analog to Batman. So they've
Yeah.
tried with Batgirl, Batwoman, and Black Bat.
Mhm.
All of them have failed in various ways. Batgirl's probably been the best version, because Batwoman with Cassie Kane, Cassandra Kane, I mean, it just gets all. I mean, it makes Power Girl's origin story clear.
Yeah.
So again, this is getting way into this comic book weeds, but yeah, I think you give us one clean Batgirl as Barbara Gordon. I also would think, I'm not a big fan of the wig. Just have her have, the red hair.
Yeah.
But do that and do it clean. And her love interest is Dick Grayson or anyone else than Batman, who is her uncle, and
Mhm.
it's weird. It's just weird.
Well, I think
Okay.
my biggest problem with Batwoman is that is Bruce's cousin.
Yes.
And where was her whole family
Family.
when
A little
Bruce was
bit, right?
growing
When
up?
he's orphaned at like
Right.
10. Yeah. Like, where
Y-
were you folks? Yeah.
Yeah, I get it for story point. A Batwoman, the character, there's a lot of character flaws in her. She should not be related to Bruce.
Right.
Absolutely not. And the character design to me doesn't work. They should have given her own city, and she should have just taken inspiration from
Sure.
Batman,
Sure.
and and
And
just
maybe they
like
meet at some point and he helps train her, but yeah, just they make it, again, for everyone that has issues with Hulk and She-Hulk,
mm,
this is the real issue, is the Batman Batwoman connection.
yeah, exactly right. And the bad part about Batwoman is Batwoman was not created out of satire,
No.
you
No.
know. But I mean, like, but Batgirl fills the shoes of Batwoman.
Absolutely.
Batgirl should have became Batwoman, and then they
Right.
should have made Spoiler, because what kind of stupid name is Spoiler?
Yeah.
I mean, like, as far as superhero, I mean, she is badass. Stephanie Brown is really freaking good character.
Right.
Like, I mean, fantastic. Cat. Oh gosh, what I'm blanking. You got Spoiler. Who's the other? She was in. The second Harley Quinn movie. Cassandra.
Second Harley Quinn. It
The
wasn't
girl.
Ravager, was it?
No, who is the little girl?
Oh, shoot.
What is her name? She becomes one of the Batgirls.
Yeah, and I'm not gonna remember now.
I can't think of
We
either.
can Google it, but yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah, there are so many better choices. You know, and you lose something with the Bruce Wayne Batman character when you give that he has family.
Yes.
So
Yes.
anyway,
All the things that we want to be. He's meant to be a fairly solitary character, except for
Alfred.
Alfred and Robin. Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, and even then, his availability to be a good quote unquote parent to whether it's Dick Grayson or Damien or Tim or anyone, is really it's to show that he's flawed, right?
Yeah.
So giving him a loving family that just didn't come back from vacay because they were busy, just again, it flies in the face of that. Absolutely.
Yeah. So oh, all right. Well, enough of that, Brian. I think we are at max levels of awesome.
That browser history needs to be purged at this point, sir.
So where can we find you in all of your awesome? And if you want to level up your awesome, be sure to buy my book, Leveling Up My Awesome, on sale on Amazon for $7.99.
Absolutely. So, with that being said, you can find me on Facebook at Brian Stephen Dennis. Feel free to give me a like, a follow, or friend request. I try and keep the page light and interesting, especially in any and all things Winnie the Pooh.
And bacon. And tacos.
And bacon. And tacos. And tequila. All the notes I know how to play.
Right, absolutely. I think we should start doing like a drink of the episode, and we could do a little thing. Anyway, we can workshop that.
This is so much fun. We start adding alcohol regularly to the mix. I'm curious the kind of content we'll really start coming up with then. Yes.
Right.
Now we really are being sued. Yes.
Yep, pretty much. You can tweet at me at Fandemic3. Message me on Facebook at The Fandemic. I'm also active on TikTok at The Fandemic1. Hear my reviews and so much more. If you want to support the show, there are several ways to do so. You can buy me a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/thefandemic. If you'll do that, I will for sure cheers you on the episode. You can also find us on Patreon at www.patreon.com/PVOTN Fandemic. You can become an episode assistant, episode producer, a prevenge producer, or as we like to call it, a PP, or become part of the Council of Nerds, starting at $5 a month. Become a monthly supporter like Stacy did at anchor.fm PVOTN. You go to PayPal or Venmo at Bradley Butin, or just show the show some love. Share it with somebody you want to make a little more awesome. You could also send them my book, Leveling Up My Awesome, on sale at Amazon for $7.99.
There we go, sir. Shameless plug number 5. You hit it.
Don't forget to leave a 5-star review. Now, Brian, in closing, we like to end every week on a positive note. What are your weekly words of wisdom?
As always, I want to thank you for leveling up your awesome with myself, my tag team partner. And please remember that Goonies never die, and there's no retreat, no surrender.
We're all playing the same game in life, just on a different level. Thanks for catching up. You're welcome for leveling up your awesome. Live free or die empty. Have a good day.
Get your earphones in, everybody, and everybody hear us out. We are Brad Butin and Brian Dennis, and this is PVOTN. We've got my dad leveling up your awesomeness, dropping knowledge of TV, movies, and comics. We've got Brian Dennis flexing his nerd muscles. How you level up your awesomeness? He will solve the puzzle. Just when you thought you've heard it all, a new episode will come along. Won't you like, subscribe, and rate our show? One last thing. Leave a 5-star review before you go. Oh yeah!
All right, Brian, we are still recording, and give whoever is still listening to the podcast a little bit of extra time and love. Anything else you want to say, Brian?
Yes, sir. I almost gave your sign off as my own. I was starting to jump into yours. I was like, wait. So for those of you that are still listening, yes, you almost heard me give Bradley's sign off. And I go, that's not right. So as always, my superhero alter ego is the one and only Bradley Buchanan. So I almost jumped into your world. So you are my inner Hawkeye. I want you to know that.
I love it, man. Hey, the bee even shows up as purple today, so that's awesome.
Boom.
Oh,
Yes,
look at
sir.
that! Hey, hey, we are just ready to get to end the podcast. Laeah, you wanna say bye to all the people
Bye!
without yelling? One more time. All right, louder than that. All right, you're fired.